It just feels like it was in me. I just knew I was born to dance. That's what I loved doing more than anything. When you're dancing in front of an audience, that feeling, the adrenaline rush, I just don't get it elsewhere, and I just loved it. I was just hungry for it all the time. When I was younger, what do you want to be when you're older? I want to be a dancer. That's what I wanted to do, but I didn't know how I was going to get there. The biggest stepping stone for me was Berry College, because I went from kind of doing it as a hobby, wanting to progress further, and then as soon as I went to Berry College, then I'd exceeded past what I thought I was capable of, and you was just doing what you loved every single day. Jules she works at Berry College, she's been there years. Everyone you ask, Jules is such an inspiration. She just pushes you so much, but in the best possible way. She introduced me to the different paths you can take. I knew I wanted to go mad. That's Midlands Academy of Dance and Drama in Nottingham. I auditioned there and I got in, but mad is hard. I didn't anticipate how difficult it is. And because it was so difficult, it pushed boundaries that I didn't even know I could push. So I was in my second year and I was actually doing really, really well. As I was warming up one time, I slipped a disc. I felt it. Straight away I felt it. It was just hell, because you can't rest it. By the third MRI, there was like, you need to make a decision now. You either stop dancing and you rest, or you have surgery. I took the decision then to step back. I'd planned my whole future. I knew exactly what path I was going to take. I knew exactly what I was going to get. So when this curveball hit, I was like, what am I supposed to do now? That was heartbreaking. When I came home from MAD, that's when my passion for teaching grew. And that's when I started thinking, this happened for a reason. Now I know why. So I started HKD. It was about 3 years ago, and I had about 8 kids. And I started doing a few dances with them. I took them to the first competition in Liverpool. They won a trophy there. So from there then, it just spiralled so quickly from there. Quicker than I could have ever expected, really. I have about 90 children now. 2 classes on a Monday night, 1 class on a Thursday night, and 4 classes on a Saturday. All different ages, all different styles of dance. I feel like dance teaches you more than just movement. It makes you who you are. It teaches you discipline. It teaches you to work as a team. You do get lost when you dance. You forget anything that's going on. A lot of my children who are anxious at school or shy, as soon as they start dancing, they're completely different. There's nothing else I've done or I can think of that makes you come alive like dance does. The main thing I say to my children is kindness. Kindness when you're dancing, always kindness when you're competing. That's a major thing that I love to instill on my children. I try to keep my dance classes as cheap as I possibly can, which means I also need a full-time job so I can live. And I've grown massively in my role at work. And they're like, I'll go into meetings and speak, and they're like, Hollie, you're so confident. That's come from dancing. A lot of these kids won't carry on with dance, but there's something from dance that'll be in them forever with whatever they do. The adrenaline that I spoke about when I'm dancing on stage and performing, it's a whole new level when you've choreographed a piece, you've thought of the music, you've thought of the costume, you've watched the dancers go from when you teach it them to the end of the journey when this final piece all comes together. I watch the audience reactions. You know, each piece makes the audience feel something different, and that's the best. Even if I wanted to, I could never stop because I've got them kids looking up to me. I see how much they love it. I see in them what I felt when I was dancing. You know, I watch them all the time in classes and I see what they can do. And then they'll go out into these competitions. I'm like, you are incredible. I'm so, so proud of them all the time. My biggest supporter in my dance journey was my nan. She was my number one fan. And she managed to watch for the first couple of weeks when I started in the new place, and I had loads of kids. And then unfortunately she fell quite ill and she passed away. But for her to have said, Hollie, go for it and do it, and for her to see what I achieved in such a short amount of time, she'd be so proud now. My first show that I did, I dedicated to her. Everyone always says to me, how do you do it? I do it because I love it. It's not a job. It's a privilege to have all these kids that come through my door and to be able to inspire them or form them into the amazing humans that they are now. To just be a little part of that is such a privilege. And I always think when I was a little girl, looking at me now, I could never have thought I could have achieved this. I'm grateful every day for what I have and what I've done, and I'm proud that I've built that myself.